Welcome everybody. I'd like to introduce Amy Pescia from the Food Bank. My name is David Fitzgerald. I'm the president of the Nonprofit Alliance here in Lowell. And we're here to talk to you today a little bit about nonprofits in Lowell, how they work together, how we collaborate, and specifically what Amy and I do is a distribution center for our agencies. The WISH Project is a distribution center for other agencies where we give out clothing and furniture. And while the Food Bank does that same thing, they take care of houses in need of food and pantries and kitchens. But I'll let her talk a little bit about that. I just wanted to let people know that we have a nonprofit alliance here in Lowell of over 40 different nonprofit agencies, and we meet once a month and we'll go over different things and have guest panelists for things that are pertinent and important to different nonprofit agencies, anything from fundraising, board recruitment, and the like. And one of these things we do is we have best practices sessions where we'll discuss how other agencies do things and maybe borrow some of their ideas. So it's a wonderful city to be a nonprofit leader in because there's so much cooperation. There's so many agencies out there providing great service that, you know, it's nice that everyone plays well together and does such good things. So Amy, I'm going to turn the floor over to you for a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about why you're a nonprofit director? You are a member of the NPA, correct?
I am, and thank you, David, for having me, and thanks to LTC for hosting this series, Good Works, because there is such good work going on in the community to help our neighbors in need. And I, as executive director at the Food Bank, I'll be celebrating my oh gosh, I just had my 17th anniversary.
I was 17, isn't it?
On December 2nd as an employee at the Food Bank. But I was involved. Thank you. I was involved for a total of about 20 years because I started as a board member and I was a volunteer. And
that's typical, isn't it?
It is.
And people get involved by volunteering, and next thing you know, you're drink the Kool-Aid, huh?
Absolutely, and it's a great family to be in, and I consider our food bank a family as well as our nonprofit partners, whether we work with them directly or we can refer people to other food pantries.
Family, that's a nice way of putting it.
Exactly, and the food bank has benefited from being a member of the Nonprofit Alliance of Greater Lowell. And it's a way for nonprofit team members to network, to find best practices, as you mentioned, and also we have the opportunity to do presentations about our respective organizations. And I always love telling the food bank story because a lot of people get confused about the difference between a food bank and a food pantry.
Well, what is the difference between a food bank and food pantry? Because I don't know either, so.
The food bank, and I'll do a little analogy, is like a bank, and food pantries and our other members or customers, which are shelters, meal programs, senior centers, and schools, are like ATMs. That's where individuals and families get food.
So you're like a distribution center.
You got that exactly
almost
right.
Like a BJ's or a Walmart distribution center, and all the other agencies come to you for the food, and they are the direct line. So these other agencies, without you, would have no place to go for this. Is that correct?
That is correct. Some of our members get about 90% of the food that they give to individuals and families from the food bank. That's and the places we get our food include contracts with the state and federal government, which provide cases of brand new food that's ordered from companies throughout the country, and there are line items in the state of Massachusetts budget and the federal government budget for food banks to manage food. And we distributed about 3.75 million pounds of food to...
I would think that you guys would be, not a bank, because you're not keeping it, you're a food distribution center. I'll have them change your name.
We are, and that's how that's what we call our... We don't want to call it a warehouse because a warehouse implies that things are just sitting there.
Right, you do so much. I mean, it's active, and you think of bank as someplace where it's stagnant or stationary, and you guys are moving stuff out every day, trucks coming in and out of there with loads and pallets of food.
And you've seen the activity that goes on at the food bank, and I'm proud to say we work together in a lot of different ways, and we understand one another's challenges with regard to the physical locations where we are, managing logistics, space, and then also the people that work at our respective agencies, which the people are more important than the space and the product, because the people that work for each of our agencies are helping our neighbors who need those basic needs, who need those
on the
basic
front
things.
lines.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And our agencies, and one of the reasons we're on the panel today together is that the WISH project too is a furniture bank, but that again doesn't aptly describe what the WISH project does. We provide household goods, yes, and furniture, yes, for in need or lower income families, people who might not have another place to go to, but it's much more than that. From people walking in off the street to getting clothes to, we give out birthday bags and Mother's Day bags and toys at Christmas. So it's a multitude of services, but we're called the bank, and I think very similarly, space is the consideration, and trying to get these nice donated items from the generous public, which is how we survive, back out to the agencies in a timely fashion is really the challenge that I think that you and I both face, is how long before we can get our services and our goods back to the people who need them the most.
It's a lot of involvement, and I mentioned that I served as a volunteer and on the board of directors, and it wasn't until I was working at the food bank for a month or so that I really could grasp the relationship between the food donors and the food bank, the food pantries, and the people that are benefiting from it. We also rely on the generosity of the general public. People donate really generously this time of year. People are thinking about hunger. It's a time, we just celebrated Thanksgiving.
But I'll say this for both of us, Amy, they're not just hungry this time of year, are they?
No.
They don't need clothes just this time of year. They need it all year long. They need food all year long. They need clothing and diapers all year long. So it's nice to see it, but I always want to remind people that these things are needed all year long.
And I'll mention something that people may be surprised to know. The increase in demand and need for food goes up, guess what time of year? Probably
directly after the season.
Directly after the season, because people have to pay their heating bills. And if they were fortunate enough to buy Christmas gifts for their family, they've got to kind of replenish their savings and pay off credit card bills if that's how they paid for those gifts.
That's the way it goes.
And another time is in the summer, when the children are out of school. Because children get about 2/3 of their calories from school meals,
the school meal program,
in breakfast and lunch, and we're so proud at the food bank to provide supplemental nutrition for children.
Well, that's a huge service. That's wonderful that you guys do that. Well, good.
Thank you. We feel privileged to be able to do it, and it's filling a gap. And I think I'm speaking for both of our organizations when I say that we are filling in a gap, and we have an advantage in a way because the basic needs that we're providing are tangible, and people can get behind providing nutritious food so people can work or look for work, so children can learn.
The direct result of services or donations to our agencies does make an impact on people's lives right here in the Merrimack Valley. But I want to hit this drum one more time, is that I think really where our strength is, both your organization and mine, Amy, is that we give the caseworkers and other agencies a resource in a resource-strapped world, and they're trying their best to make ends meet with a small budget or a small staff or possibly all volunteer staff. And without agencies like the Food Bank and the WISH Project, these places really would struggle to fill the needs of those people on the street, the people that they serve, their clients and cases that would go unserved without agencies like the Food Bank and the WISH Project. So
it not only provides a relief for the individuals and families that are benefiting, but for those caseworkers that you mentioned that are trying to
the ones on the front lines.
Absolutely. And if they can make that one piece of the puzzle fit, or those two pieces, food and household goods, clothing, warm jackets, then maybe it makes it seem that the more challenging things can
that made me
be
really
tackled.
think of the value, the true value of the Nonprofit Alliance is that we all fill different niches and service areas. But by attending these meetings and finding the opportunities to collaborate, really the high tide raises all boats. We all benefit by these associations and having partnerships and knowledge. And when I go see the other agencies out at events, there's a camaraderie, a fellowship that exists because we're all championing the fight for good, for goodwill, for helping people in the community. And I think that's the thread that really draws the Nonprofit Alliance together. Everyone in there is all after the same thing, making a difference in people's lives now in the Merrimack Valley. And it's really a great thing to be a part of.
It absolutely is. And it occurs to me that a real tangible and concrete and recent impact that we've been able to make as a result of our membership at the Nonprofit Alliance is that community teamwork here in Lowell and serving the region. Is a member of the Nonprofit Alliance, and Connie Martin represents CTI at the meetings, and she had made an announcement at a meeting about their youth build program and that they were expanding and establishing a space called Milieu. Is it?
I was there with you. I can't remember at the MPA meeting, but
Milieu.
yeah, no, I remember her saying something.
And
Sorry, it escapes me. I can't think of it.
And after the meeting, I talked with Connie and I said, we have food that would really complement your program that you're trying to expand.
NBA brought both of you guys together to the table, didn't it?
It did, and we
nice.
have a completed membership application for those programs,
Good,
and
good
they're
for
going
you.
to be able to access food because the funding that they get from specifically the federal government
Right.
may not be used for food.
For food, yeah. No.
And we have those resources, and
It is
again,
nice to have
the children, I'll call them children, although they're teens to early 20s, that are
Adolescents, sure.
homeless, can at least have a full belly and
Absolutely.
be able to study for their high school diploma.
Can't think about books if you're hungry, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, one of the other things I just wanted to point out, and because community teamwork is a stellar organization and quite a sizable organization, but I would like the other nonprofit agencies to know that we are all sizes. There's the very smallest to the very biggest, and it is open to all, and it's really beneficial, especially if you're a new person starting a nonprofit or you're really not sure what direction to go. The resources there, the individuals that are willing to help are one of the strengths of the Nonprofit Alliance.
I particularly liked how at this week's meeting, John from Kids and Disability Sports, he's a volunteer board member, had asked a question of the group.
Right.
How can we best access grant resources?
I think 3 or 4 people stood up and talked to him after the meeting, and it was really nice to see.
It was,
Yeah,
and
I like
that's
that.
what it's all about. And I, not only at the NPA meetings, but throughout the community, we all collaborate in many different ways, and I feel like we're a unique community
Lowell,
in that
yeah, and I would like to
respect.
brag a little bit on Lowell too on that one. I think this is a unique area that the nonprofits work really well together, and they really support each other. And I'm sure other municipalities have that same brag, but I really see it every day how the Food Bank and the Wish Project work together, and CTI is working with me and with you and all the different agencies that are out there collaborating, and it's just one of the strengths of this area. I really think it's wonderful to have so many agencies that work together.
It is. And as a nonprofit leader, what can you think of or share with us that is one of your most predominant challenges with regard to running the organization?
Well, I don't know if this is universal, but right now our biggest challenge is finding a space big enough to handle the distribution center need. We had recently moved, and we've got another location which we're operating out of. But the challenge right now, the biggest challenge, and I know I think even your agency might be facing it, is a larger building to handle the operations. We serve quite a few people in the Merrimack Valley, and I know that there's a lot more that need services, and there's a lot more agencies that could benefit by having these services available to them. So the biggest challenge right now for the WISH project, I want to say, is getting a new space that would be able to expand to serve more agencies and do a better job at making sure everyone gets what they need. I'd say that's probably one of our main challenges at this point in the game, I'd say. With
more space, you would be able to better organize and rotate your donation inventory?
I think it would be expansion. So instead of 20 beds, I'd have 50 beds. Instead of serving so many families, I would be able to serve more families. Instead of having 50 partner agencies, I would be able to do 100 partner agencies, and possibly do things that you would, expand up the Merrimack Valley into maybe towards Lawrence, towards Haverhill, where there's other agencies that could benefit. So those are the things that a larger facility would allow us to do, is expand what we currently do. I would think that would be the best way we describe it. And I think that there's a real opportunity for us to utilize the thrift part of our operation. So a bigger building would allow us to do that.
I like that you have a thrift store. It's a small portion of your space, but it's...
people love it. They just can't get enough of that thrift store. They're in all the time. It's pretty neat.
I haven't come shopping. I've donated items to it, but I haven't come shopping at the thrift store.
Make sure you come shopping at the Wish Project Thrift Store.
And
there's a little plug for us.
In order to get a larger space that would suit your needs better and allow you to serve more people, that takes...
money.
Exactly. Or somebody who has
deep pockets,
a space and is willing to donate it.
And I realize that too, that there's we're not the only people out there with building needs. So we continue to provide services as we do with everything, with what we have. But I think that a larger space would be really instrumental to making us grow.
And I can probably speak for most nonprofits that funding is something that's always a concern. We may have enough to serve the people that we're currently serving, but more funds would allow us to serve more people.
And it's a conversation I was actually having with Sumita earlier, is that that nonprofits have to pay bills with real money and not monopoly money. When people ask us, "Oh, you're a nonprofit, so you don't have to make money," I said, "Well, I'd like to tell National Grid that that's not the case."
It's not funny. I should not be laughing
at all.
Well,
I'm sure because you've faced the questions. It's like, oh, and it's laughable because we do have to realize income to pay our employees, to rent the places, or our mortgage, our insurances, everything that comes with running any business, whether it's profit or nonprofit. All those same things exist, and we have to do extra hard work to make sure we realize those funds. So they're always needed, and it's because of the fact that we're providing services to the public for zero or little to no cost is why that we don't have that income stream from a product, and we rely on the public and their generosity for those type of things.
And we have the same expenses at the food bank.
All around.
And in a nearly 20,000 square foot building, an old mill building at that, that we could use a new space as well. All one level warehouse would be ideal. We have a large refrigerated building that's part of our property. And as you can imagine, that makes our electric bills really one of the largest expenses.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but I just had a thought and a question, is that, do you have more agencies coming to you that you can't serve because you don't have the capacity, or would you expand your demographic if you had a larger facility? I mean, what are your thoughts on, and if you did realize that, what would it do for your agency?
For our organization,
so if you got that bigger building,
a better oriented space would allow us to operate more efficiently. And we could
A space
welcome...
built for what you do, so to speak.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and
okay, I got
we
that.
could and would welcome additional agencies to access food. And in our case, I asked you if it would help you better manage your donations. It would certainly help us, because we, managing state and federal food, need to make sure that those stay
Right.
in
You have compliance.
designated
You have
areas.
compliance that you have to adhere to, yeah. So it's not you can put it anywhere. You have to make sure you're doing it by the book. So
Right.
that's definitely important.
We would increase efficiency and be able to, our summer meals program, for example, right now we use donated space.
Now, do you work with the schools on that? The meal program, how does that work? Do the schools get to benefit from, the meal program? How does that work? If the kids are off school, I mean, do they participate, or how do they participate?
We're one of the sponsors in Lowell
Okay.
of the summer food service
And
program.
that's something through the school?
The Lowell Public Schools is another sponsor.
Okay, okay.
We provide lunches and snacks
Yep.
to children that are participating in activities at the YWCA of
Why, I was gonna say,
Lowell,
where do they get their?
Lowell
why?
Community Health Center's
Okay, I see
Teen
that.
Block program.
Oh, so you have
gets-
multiple places that you can
Yes,
get it.
the
Good,
Whistler House
good.
Museum of Art gets funding for a summer art program that's free for children, and we provide the snacks for that.
Nice.
And then there are a couple of residential partners in Lowell that provide meals for children in conjunction with academic support, and a few of the parks and recreation
Yeah,
programs.
sounds like you got at least a half a dozen different channels where you can give these kids some meals. That's great.
And we provide between 10 and 12,000 meals and snacks for children in about a 6-week period.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm certain, certainly that comes in handy for a lot of families.
It does, so it fills that gap that exists in nutritional support because the kids aren't in school. We hope that they would all be participating in activities,
Right.
and when they are participating in those activities, they get the free meals, free for all, and we do get reimbursed for each meal by the USDA.
Well, that's good. So then you're have a way to absorb some of that cost. Well, good.
Yes.
Most importantly, those kids are getting a healthy meal. That's really the big takeaway. I'm glad to have that.
And another vulnerable population that we're proud to serve at the food bank are seniors and people with disabilities.
Very vulnerable population.
Through a couple of our programs, and we've learned over the years, particularly through our work with nonprofit alliance partners, is that people are going to be better able to get nutritious food if we bring it to where they learn, in the case of our Operation Nourish program with the Lowell Public Schools and the Summer Meals program. And in our mobile pantry, we deliver food right to people's homes in the greater Lowell area.
So you got delivery service right to that. That's just a good thing. That is really a good thing. Well, now, Amy, what does the food bank need this time of year? How can people donate? What is it that you guys could use right about now?
This time of year, people donate generously funds and food and their volunteer time, and we appreciate those throughout the year. And people can either buy a few extra cans of soup at the market when they find it on sale and bring it to us at our food distribution center at 733 Broadway Street in Lowell. We also accept donations securely online on our website, which is mvfb.org, or people can mail a donation to 733 Broadway Street in Lowell. And we also accept volunteers throughout the year. And by looking on our website, people can find the volunteer application, and the tasks range from organizing, inspecting, and sorting food donations to distributing food to our neighbors in our community market program, which is a free farmers market that we operate at 4 Lowell Housing Authority properties.
Nice, very nice.
And the WISH Project, as a nonprofit, can use support in a number of different ways throughout the year, I'm sure. What are some ways that folks listening and watching can help?
Well, the WISH Project, as every year, throughout the year, we can use financial contributions. You can always go to our website, and right on the front page, you can hit Donate Now and make a contribution that'll make an effect in somebody's life this month, this year. Also, the Facebook page also will have the ability for you to make a financial contribution for the end of the year. The other way is that people bring us clothing, new and used, gently used clothing, which we will repurpose and get it out to the public. So we certainly could use winter boots. We could use winter coats at this time of year. A lot of people who are homeless need coats and boots. But then, as always, we'll take any type of new socks, new clothes, gently used furniture at all times. But those are the ways we could really help us. And obviously, at the end of the year, we're really trying to, make financial ends meet and make our budget. So any financial contributions to help us make the end of the year really are important at this point in the game. Well, I would like to just kind of get towards our end of our session here, which has been wonderful. I've been really enjoyed talking to you, Amy, and all the good work you guys do at the food bank. It's nice to have. And I just wanted to, kind of, maybe you can share a little bit or wrap this up for us about, how the NPA works, and if people want to get involved, or if agencies want to, or if they want to find out anything more about us, how would they go about doing that?
We welcome folks to come to the Nonprofit Alliance of Greater Lowell meetings. We meet on the first Wednesday of every month. However, in January, we'll be meeting on the 8th because the 1st is New Year's Day. Mm-hmm. And we usually meet at the Enterprise Bank, Palmer Street location in the community room, which is located on the 2nd floor. You can get more information about the Nonprofit Alliance of Greater Lowell, the members, and where we meet, and there's a calendar with events at npagl.org. And to get more information about the Merrimack Valley Food Bank, you can visit mvfb.org or call 978-454-7272. And to get in touch with the Wish Project?
Well, you can contact at info@thewishproject.org is the best email to use. And then we have a very active Facebook page, and that's constantly being answered questions on there. So if you go on to Facebook and you punch in the Wish Project, you'll be able to contact our social media representative, and she'll answer any questions very quickly for you.
Excellent. And thank you to LTC for offering us this opportunity to share the good works of nonprofits in the community and the Nonprofit Alliance of Greater Lowell.